Calling my ex-husband while we were separated because I was having a panic attack and he was my safe person.
Oh, okay.
Him coming to pick me up even though I was the one divorcing him. I completely understand this. I did it several times. I struggle with the sadness of the decision, but it was needed. So your ex-husband is needed, but he's your ex-husband.
Yeah, I'm very confused.
Mine didn't come. I go through them alone now, and it hurts every time.
You divorced him! Like, why are you expecting him to come? Hi YouTube, welcome back in hell. My name is Cypress, and today we'll be watching another video by the Advocate. Womansplaining men to women. Compilation 102 to 112.
Where did all the good men go?
Sorry, I heard where the good mango. Where's the good mango? I want to know where the good mango is too.
Or in their car commuting to work. They might be on their lunch from work, or they're sleeping from doing so much work. Finally, they could be trapped in the nothing box and staring off blankly into the distance as a subconscious distraction from the perilous dread of work. The average man will spend at least 1/3 of his life at work. See, we as a society, majoritively, about 3/4 of us in fact, are still telling men that in order to be valued, they should be able to provide for an entire family on their own, despite the fact that 7 out of 10 wives now earn as much or more than their husbands. So to answer the question, where are the good men with facts, they're spending most of their time burning themselves down at both ends, desperately trying to please people who don't actually need their money as much as they say they do. So I wonder, I really have this theory. If we were more vocal and expressive in valuing men for their presence, for simply being available for us, for being who they are, like we expect people to do for us, you know, instead of constantly telling them that it was better when they just went to war and sent home a paycheck.
That's actually so fucked up to say that to someone, because it just sounds like you don't fucking love them, you only love the money.
Actually have a chance at getting to meet those men. But more importantly, if we removed these superficial standards, maybe they'd have a chance to meet themselves. These are 3 more things your man has always wanted to tell you, but for numerous reasons he can't, so I will. As always, I'm far from perfect. I've just been married for 10 years, so I've learned all these the hard way. 1, you are guilty of doing annoying things too. Like, he already knows he's annoying, but he wants—
We're all annoying, man. I know it's hard. It's hard to accept, but we're all fucking annoying.
to know if you know that you also can be annoying. He definitely notices when you leave all of the cupboard doors open, or you leave dishes out, or you leave the bathroom a mess, but he chooses the peace of not saying anything over potentially starting a fight.
Yeah, probably. That makes sense,
that you did that a little bit more too. 2, guys aren't the only ones who can be oblivious when they're being hit on, and oh my god, are you ever clueless that so many people hit on you all the time? Your dude is acutely aware of every man in your life. 3, you fart in your sleep.
Why are you telling me that? I'm fine with the fact that I farted in my sleep, you know, but I don't want to think about other people knowing that I farted while I sleep.
Little toots either. I'm talking full on the sound of the Ocean Gate submarine exploding underwater.
Don't tell them!
You sound like a saxophone full of Doritos. You straight up sound like if someone threw a 24-pound roll of bubble wrap through an airplane propeller, and he's impressed.
Oh, okay, never mind. We're good.
Send this to her. Just like, nod, smile,
We're good.
Pray it ends up on her FYP. These are 5 phrases guys cannot stand hearing. 1, he's so well-trained. Given that he is a man and not a circus elephant, this can be a bit patronizing. 2, men are so sassy these days.
I find it so dumb in general when people say that. Like, I just hate generalization so bad. Doesn't matter if it's about men or women. I just fucking hate it.
Especially because this is usually only said after he has expressed a very basic want or need. It's like if you were to say that you wanted to receive flowers and he were to say, oh, I didn't realize you were so materialistic. It's a subtle way of shaming someone so that they don't have to step up to doing something very basic. 3, fine, go ahead and do whatever you want then. He knows, you know, we all know that you don't mean that. You never did. Just say what you mean and mean what you say. 4, I just think it's funny how whatever you're about to say next is not even going to be a little bit funny. 5,
That is true. Why use that?
not busy, here's what I have planned for you. Ma'am, he sat down not because that is where he goes to await future instructions. He wants so badly to just sit down and stay there. Men need nothing time.
Everyone needs nothing time. We need to recharge. Everyone deserves that.
I like to hear literally just any compliment. Anything, please.
they beg.
These are 5 more things every guy in a long-term relationship has wanted to say to his girl, but for multiple reasons he cannot, so I will. As always, I am not better than anybody. I have made all of these mistakes, so please learn from mine. 1. Get to the point. The suspense is killing him, especially if it's something that makes you uncomfortable. Just rip the band-aid off. Sometimes you just take a little bit too long dancing around things when you should just come out with it, please.
I also just think like it makes things like worse if you just don't get to the point immediately. A lot of pain can be avoided if you just immediately say what is wrong and get to the point.
2. Sometimes the amount of time you spend on beauty feels like wasted time. He knows that makeup and self-care is important to you, but he just wishes just once that you would actually believe him when he says that you look good as you are, so you can just get going a little sooner.
But also, I just think like sometimes women don't just do that because they want you to think that they look nice. They just like it for themselves to have like the makeup on. But I do agree though on this, like maybe do it in a more timely manner. If you know you need to be gone by 1 p.m. and you know it's gonna take you 3 hours to do the thing that you want to do, maybe wake up earlier and start earlier so you can actually leave on time, right? You're not only putting the makeup on for the guy. For me, myself, I know I'm not doing it for a guy. When I do that, I do it because I like it myself. I like the way that it looks when my makeup is done. But you have to think about the other person too. If you know you have to be somewhere and you're gonna go with someone else, do it on time.
3. If you're getting serious, it is 100% okay for you to offer to chip in sometimes. Most guys do not mind paying for things at first, but if things are moving along and you're both working and he's never said that he wants to be the exclusive provider, it would really show that you care about making things easier for him if you just offer to chip in a little bit to meals and dates.
I agree with this though. Like when I go on dates, I don't like it when the man pays for everything. I always like chip in myself as well. I think we need to let go of this old school thinking of like, oh, the man needs to pay. We're all working these days. We're all making money. It's fine to help pay for stuff.
4. Stop doing the baby voice. Like, unless you're making fun of something, it is not to be used unironically. It physically hurts their ears. And 5, he craves the group chat's approval. If he ever gets even a slight inkling that they actually like him in there, or better yet, that they took his side of an argument, he will ride that horse into the sunset like the end of a spaghetti western, dude. That will be his new Roman empire.
Spaghetti western?
Guys, just remember, don't... You already sent it to her, didn't you? Oh, okay. Well, if you sent it to her, you gotta make her girl dinner. Those are the rules. Should have waited till the end of the video.
Girl dinner.
An episode that is long overdue. So
don't treat him like your ex.
There's one thing men hate more than almost anything in relationships. It's when you treat him like he's your ex.
Anyone would f***ing hate it if you treat him like your ex.
About every dude you know has had to atone for the sins of the dude who came before him somehow, and this is what it looks like. Trying to justify possessive and controlling behaviors because she was cheated on in the past. Jumping to the worst possible assumption.
I am not a dude, obviously, or maybe not obviously for some people. I have literally experienced this too. Being treated a specific way because of an ex. And then they jump into the worst possible assumptions, like she says, about like why you're doing stuff. Well, like I'm doing something like out of goodwill or like, you know, nothing malicious at all. But the conclusion has been made that I do it for some fucking evil reason because of an ex. That was really fucked up and it's not fair.
Why he's doing things based off of why her ex used to do things. Or constantly testing him to gauge his reaction to make sure that he's not doing the same things her ex did. Men are generally very sympathetic to women who have been mistreated in the past and will often go out of their way to make them feel more comfortable.
I do have to say, like, I've been like watching this whole Womansplaining men to women compilation now, and not the whole, but I think this is like one of the last ones. And I can say as a woman that a lot of the things that she says is just in general a thing for men and women. We're not that different as we think that we are, because I relate to a lot of stuff that she has said about like relationships, what men do not want, do not like, you know, and how women like behave. Well, I have like experienced that with men, but that's like really interesting. Or I'm just a man. That's also a possibility.
For example, moving more slowly if they notice that she flinches when he moves too fast. But it does get exhausting having to wear the mantle for some other dude's crimes day in and day out.
Yep.
If you don't have it in you to give your new partner a clean slate, it is perfectly okay to take more time on healing yourself before entering the dating world.
I agree 100% with that.
If you're still projecting your shitty ex onto every guy you date, please leave these poor dudes alone. It's not your fault what happened to you, but it is your responsibility to work on it, not his.
My mother told me,
don't hit him where he's weak.
hit a man where he's weak. Never. It could be true, it could be real, but you don't hit him where he's weak because it'll turn around on you. You can get him to do what you need him to do. But you never hit a man where he's weak because they never forget it.
Of course.
It lives with them. And so I know what his weaknesses are. He don't know I know they're there.
This right here is so true. This is what men are talking about when they say that they're afraid to open up about their biggest problems because it often gets weaponized against them.
But that's just f***ed up if you do that. You're like a horrible person if you do shit like
we were
that.
talking about general criticisms like, hey, you don't move the couches when you sweep, or you haven't been wiping down the counters after yourself. We're talking about when you know your man's deepest insecurity.
Yeah, that is just f***ed up because like imagine as you as a woman would hear that from the guy that you love. Like the one person that you expect not to use that, uses that against you. That is f***ed up. That is so hurtful.
He's opened up to you about the thing that he has struggled the most
He
with.
trusted
and
you.
bring it up in a discussion or an argument to either hurt him or motivate him to do what you want him to do. For example, I have heard men open up to their girl that they are so hurt that their father abandoned the family, so she uses it against him like you are being just like your father right now. Or when a man opens up about how he's been broken up with numerous times, so she brings up, and that's why girls always leave you later on in an argument. She is completely right that he is never going to forget that you did that, and he's sure not going to be the same man to you afterward.
Yeah.
All of a sudden it's going to be, why isn't he opening up to me anymore? Why doesn't he seem to trust me anymore? Where did the love go? And this is where men aren't the only ones who are blindsided when a relationship ends. When a man has his weaknesses exploited by a woman he trusts, he generally falls back.
Like it hits even harder because you were that one person that should have been safe.
Silence and doesn't say a word. So if you've ever been guilty of doing this to a man in your past, you might have been able to say that you didn't know what was going on before, but now that you've made it to the end of this video, don't make that mistake again. Me calling my ex-husband while we were separated because I was having a panic attack and he was my safe person.
Oh, okay.
Him coming to pick me up even though I was the one divorcing him. I completely understand this. I did it several times. I struggle with the sadness of the decision, but it was needed. So your ex-husband is needed, but he's your ex-husband.
Yeah, I'm very confused.
Mine didn't come. I go through them alone now, and it hurts every time.
You divorced him! Like, why are you expecting him to come? I mean, if they come, like, that's nice. That means you still have, like, a, you know, some people just have a relationship like that. They're divorced, but they can still rely on each other as friends, I guess. And sometimes it's just like this. I feel like it's so dumb that you expect an ex-husband to want to go to you when you call.
There is a disconnect happening where women are leaving their men, yet expecting them to stay and keep performing their husbandly duties.
Yeah.
Do you think if he called her having a panic attack that she'd even pick up the phone? Being expected to constantly provide and care for people who have given up on them is not good for men's souls and their growth. It is beating them down mentally. Men already feel overlooked for their personalities and love to give and feel more used for what they can provide, and crap like this is exactly why. Even if it's not your intention, it is so incredibly manipulative to break up with a guy and then expect him to console you through the breakup.
Oh wait, is it specifically about that? That's weird.
Your exes as free therapists. Move on and let them move on in peace.
When she apologizes versus when I apologize. Jesus!
Like, I'm well aware of the fact that this was a sketch. Still doesn't change the reality of how annoying this actually is.
Yeah, that was a little exaggerated, but it does happen.
It doesn't, like, only exist in fiction that women have a greater appeal to emotion than men do. What that translates to is that, yes, oftentimes, especially in relationships, women get away with not apologizing a lot more than men do. There's a reason this joke was relatable. This is why women who take accountability are beautiful diamonds in the rough for men. Men have reached a point where they might entertain women like this, but they are not giving them rings. Less and less people in general are interested in getting married, and I have to imagine that's in large part from watching our parents act like this. And deadass, when you ask men the qualities that they're looking for in a wife, being able to take accountability is consistently one of the top 3 next to kindness.
I mean, that makes sense, yes.
They care about these 3 things even more than conventional attractiveness. Apologizing isn't just for the boys. This is not a gendered issue. Being able to take accountability and say sorry is a necessary function of society to be respectable. Men, I'm just gonna say it. Stop wasting your time on women who can't say sorry.
I agree.
And definitely stop getting them pregnant, because no kid wants a mom who can't say sorry.
Oh god, yes.
These are 8 more things we women say to guys thinking they're compliments, and they're not. 1, referring to him as a short king.
Yes.
I guess you gave him a little noble title, but at what cost?
Yes, like, oh well, thanks. What do you do with that?
Dude like Pocket Prince or Little Lord or Bite-Sized Baron, Minuscule Mayor. 2, I'm not usually into guys who have insert whatever.
That is such a backhanded thing to say. Like, you know what I've heard before is like, oh, you're pretty for a black girl. Like, the fuck? Do you think I take it as a compliment?
That he's suddenly about to feel very insecure about. Like, I get why you think it's a compliment. You're trying to say that there are so many awesome qualities that make you overlook the one that you usually hate, but surely there's a way you can compliment him that won't make him feel worse than when you started the compliment.
Yes.
3, if you put the words actually or surprisingly in the compliment, it's not a compliment. Saying, wow, you actually look good today.
Oh my god, that means that they actually normally do not look good, and this is the one day that they do look good. Wow, thanks.
You're surprisingly good at that.
That is not nice. That actually means like, oh, yeah, I was expecting you to not be good at this, but you're actually good at this? Wow, thanks. Thanks for letting me know how you thought about me.
4, when you see another guy doing something stupid, immediately saying, at least you're not that incompetent. No, seriously, imagine if a guy was to be
crazy.
Like, at least you're not that ugly.
Crazy.
Men are disgusting.
Not you, though.
Nah, because that makes him think you either don't see him as a man or there is a time limit before you start to see him as you see men. 6, being referred to as her boy toy. Most guys don't really want to feel like your flavor of the week, and they really don't like when you rub it in.
Why would you say that? Why would you say that?
I actually like guys that are super muscular. You don't have to remind him he could be bigger. And finally, number 8, when he does something nice for you and you say, you're so well trained. Guys hate that because it makes it sound
Why would you say that?
like his love and dedication to you has just been an obligation all along. Seriously, guys do not get many compliments, so if you're gonna give him one, don't make it one of these.
Yes,
We
please.
talked a lot about how guys don't pick up on hints, and that's absolutely true, but I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. A lot of them absolutely do. You'll just never know because it has the same result anyway. Because even if a guy does pick up on your subtle hint, even if he has not only picked up on it, but has analyzed it from 1,000 different angles, has seen 3,000 different dog houses from this hint, he's still not gonna do anything about it. Even if he gets it, he is going to pretend that he has no idea what you're hinting at. Why? Because he is not going to reward this behavior.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense. Yes.
He's screwing over his future self that is not getting the future hints because you're going to come to expect it. He can't let you think hints work because he relies
You need to communicate properly, man.
on proper communication skills to keep the whole relationship afloat. If you can't put in the effort to turn your hint into respectable verbal communication...
So childish? Drop hints instead of just talking like it's your partner, right? Why the f*** are you dropping hints? Just say what you want.
I'm not gonna put in 3 times that effort trying to unscramble your unnecessary puzzle.
Yes.
You have 2 options. Either keep dropping hints and enter a psychological stalemate, or use your words and build a healthy relationship.
Use words.
Choice is yours. Why are there so many dating coaches telling women that if they want a guy to stick around, they have to be a bitch? Women are on this app by the hundreds of thousands saying things like, my man didn't start treating me right until I started treating him wrong.
Bro.
I swear things didn't start getting better until I stopped giving a I listened to all this aggressive language, and at first I was like, what the f*** is wrong with you? But then I listened to what they were saying, and I realized what was actually happening. At the end of the day, they're right and they're wrong. Let me explain. The reason that all of these women think that they're finding so much success in being a bitch is because they're confusing being a bitch with simply being assertive and clearly communicating.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. Okay. Stupid. I was so f***ing confused.
Look, it's been a tough transition for us women. Our whole lives, we've been socialized to understand that feminism means being submissive, polite, agreeable, quiet. So much so that the most basic forms of sticking up for ourselves feel to us like we're being bitchy. And the truth is that men really do want a lot of the qualities that come with what we associate as being a bitch. That is, communicating very clearly and directly, stating their boundaries concisely, plainly establishing their wants. What they don't care for is the attitude part. What these women are actually finding success in is simply using their voice. But in an effort to become more assertive, some of us are getting a little carried away, and men can only take being blatantly mistreated for so long.
As anyone,
It's a
yeah.
really powerful thing when we realize that our voice can be used to stand up for ourselves and what we believe in. However, we can't take it so far that we start using our voice to test how far our man's boundaries will go. Women who are firm but fair, men like that. Women who are bitches for the sake of being bitches, stay safe.
Hi, thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, please don't forget to give a like to the video and subscribe to my channel. I also stream live on Twitch and on YouTube, so follow me on Twitch or just turn on the notification bell on YouTube to know when I go live. I hope to see you there. Bye!